From darkness to light. Hi, my name is Cyril Wohrer, or Chandra. Welcome. I make videos on spirituality, especially based on the ancient wisdom of India. And therefore, if you believe that consciousness is a non-material phenomena, and if you believe in karma, reincarnation, and the existence of, gods and goddesses in the universe, then please do consider subscribing. I'm pretty pissed off at looking at this article here about Dr. Rachel Levine, who's like basically the highest ranking openly transgender official in the United States. And, she's just been sworn in as Assistant Secretary for Health. And I don't have an issue with her being a transgender person, As an adult, you do whatever the heck you want. But I do have an issue with this idea of gender-affirming care for minors, because there's some serious ramifications in terms of civilization that are involved when the government takes precedent over parents' choices on how to raise their kids. So in this article, there's this statement by Representative Andy Harris, who's a member of the House Doctor Caucus and co-chair of the Pro-Life Caucus. And listen to what he says. He says, and I totally agree with him, he says that it's reprehensible for a government official, let alone the Assistant U.S. Secretary, to promote the genital mutilation of minors as becoming a standard practice in the U.S. In other words, what's going on is you have these kids, right? And for sure, due to a lot of media pressure, like I remember when I was in high school in the early 1990s, late 1980s, there was, all of a sudden there was like talk about homosexuality coming in from the teachers. And for the first time in my life, I started doubting, like, oh, well, maybe I'm gay, maybe I'm gay. And then, I started looking at the butts of guys, or guys in general, and I was like, am I sexually attracted to these guys, to this guy or that guy? And I was like, no, I'm not. But it took me like a week or two to conclude that I'm not gay, I'm straight. But the point is that doubt about my gender identity didn't come from me. It came from external influences, and it just so happened that we were teachers and special guests were coming in and talking about homosexuality, normalizing homosexuality. I'm not necessarily against homosexuality. The point is, though, that children are very influenceable, very gullible, very they absorb whatever is given to them. And so when a kid has gender dysphoria, as they call it, and wonders about his or her identity, a lot of it, we can claim, comes from artificial influence of the media. So, having said that, though, a kid, in my opinion, is a kid. And, doing seriously physically inhibiting medical procedures on a kid, like giving them, hormone blockers and doing literally like, genital mutilation operations to a kid, and especially without the consent of parents, I think is demoniac. It's demoniac. Why? Because for one thing, it's eroding, not to speak of eroding, it's destroying the very family unit as an important institution for, moving forward generations in human society, right? The family unit of a mother and a father, and the mother and the father taking responsibility for educating their children up until they're adults, and then they can do whatever the heck they want in their lives. That unit, which for millennia has proved to be a holistic, natural, we could say God-created institution or convention, or not convention, but just a structure, a biological human structure, biosociological structure for human prosperity and human development, is being destroyed. And so what we're going towards is the type of horrible, just nightmarish scenarios that we find in books like 1984 by George Orwell, or Brave New World, or these sort of dystopic futuristic scenarios wherein precisely the family, the father and the mother, have no more control on the kids, and it's the government who oftentimes is, atheistic, Marxist, communist, completely physicalist in terms of its views on life, on consciousness, what to speak of God and the soul. And that government, all of a sudden, gets to call the shots over and above parental protection and parental decision over the children. When the kid grows up, hey, you want to mutilate your genitals and you want to identify as a woman or as a man and do whatever you want to do to feel better in that in that identity, do whatever the heck you want. But until you are 18, as long as you're under the care of your parents, the government, however pious or unrighteous, which is the case nowadays. Remember, I come from the Vedic perspective, and remember, we're in Kali Yuga, the worst of the 4 ages. And in Kali Yuga, one of the symptoms of this horrible age that we live in is precisely corrupt government leaders, or corrupt leaders in general, who are very demoniac in nature. Some of them, many of them. And so therefore, all the more reason to emphasize that no, you, government, you have no jurisdiction over our children. Otherwise, we're just heading towards a 1984 scenario. And good luck with that. Thanks for watching again. Remember, we are not our bodies, we're souls. We are not matter, but we do matter. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time.